Hi everyone,
Hello!
we're back with another episode. It's hot. We cannot think properly.
Yeah, Yasha just had a bad heat wave reaction.
A very bad one, but then okay. Life happens, it's fine. But today we have no script because apparently the one episode that we did without thinking, without any sort of planning, without a script,
Just
without
raw us.
without an outline, apparently did have great feedback.
Feedbacks, yeah.
And you guys are interested in listening to us
Because we are awesome.
more than
come on,
facts.
like-
I have no idea why, but okay, if this is what you want, then this is what you get. So welcome to everyone who's new here, and welcome back to everybody who has come back to us. For all of us who don't know the show, I'm Anmol. I'm Yasha. I've had a bad
I'm
heat wave
Anmol, she's Yasha. We are giving her the benefit of doubt because
I was Bimar.
medical conditions.
So let me introduce you to the show. For those of you who don't know, we come to the podcast to discuss random thoughts, which are small, big, which are relevant, irrelevant, perspective issues, whatever.
Spontaneous thoughts.
Spontaneous thoughts that you might have thought up until now, thoughts that you might think after listening to the podcast. All this to make and bring change one thought at a time. So we are discussing efforts today, which is a little vague of a topic, but it's something that we're going to discuss today.
I think we've always wanted to discuss this topic, but we were
we did
postponing
not. We did not know
where to begin with. So today we were like, we'll just go with it. We'll just go with the flow and see where we go with it. Yeah, so I think that's about it. So I think
what qualifies as efforts is something that is very subjective to people.
Yeah, that's actually true.
There is no such definition there is no definition that will be okay for you and me, because there is going to be a difference in effort.
The
amount
how
of-
we perceive effort.
How we perceive effort and I think it's more about we give efforts the way we want to receive efforts.
Oh, that's actually true.
And there are different. Efforts is something that is subjective to.
I think you can measure it if, in let's say practical terms, you can measure it if we are speaking in a professional sense, or if it's in an academic sense. But then again, that is only just on paper, like keeping a score sheet, making Excel sheets, and everything. But everyone has their own potential and capabilities to do something. Like someone, like we were just talking about this earlier, that someone who might be good at mathematics would require less time and effort to study, whereas someone who would struggle with mathematics
would probably fail at mathematics. This is somebody
yeah.
If there is somebody who is failing at mathematics, would probably require more effort, not just in terms of studies, the study portion. I think they would require effort to overcome the mental blocks. In terms of they might procrastinate, they might not want to do it, they might have already told themselves that they're not good at
Or
it,
overthought that, oh my god, I'm
not
able
good
to get this.
and plus sorry to say this, but I think the education system is such that your worth is measured by your report card, and it sort of labels the child as incompetent or somebody who cannot achieve in life.
I think maximum percentage, if we are talking about in percentage wise, you are measured that ways, but with the evolving coming times, I think people are able to get that it's not just things or numbers that are on your sheet, but more than that.
There is a very famous quote by Einstein, if I'm not wrong, that says that you cannot measure the worth of a frog by its ability to fly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's frog hai ya fish hai, I think. So
Like a frog can be measured
a fish
on the basis
for
of his jump, and
so
fish on the basis of how
it.
how it survives.
So no, so there's a bird. It can fly. The potential or the skill or the capability that the bird has is flight. I mean, their capability to fly. A fish can swim. A bird cannot swim. A fish can. So I mean, it's like
Putting in your effort in the right direction and in your strengths.
because you cannot compare apples to oranges.
Exactly.
There is no point in doing that. I mean, it's futile. It has a very negative impact on the child and on an individual, not just a
Any
child,
individual,
any
yeah.
individual. So I mean, I think that is I mean, this also
We all have our own strengths and flaws.
weaknesses.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
I had a very good manager. He was probably my second manager, Mr. Nikhil. He used to point out that if you as a manager are not able to manage your team, and if you as a manager cannot see what is the strength or the weakness of the team members that you're managing, then that is on you. If they succeed, if that is on you. If they fail, that is also on you. So take responsibility. If as a manager, take responsibility for both, not just their successes. So I had one individual, they were very good at sales. There was other individual who is very good at operations and admin work and stuff like that. So they very smartly, because I mean, when you're in sales, your performance, so to speak, is measured in terms of sales. And the sale of the store that you're in. So they very efficiently, I noticed this, but then I did not say this because I wanted to see how long this could go on. So what they did was, so one of them decided that they would do all the billing and all the bookkeeping and cash management and cash deposits, all the admin and operations stuff, and the other individual would just do sales. They will not do the inventory control, the inventory count. They will not do any operation work.
Just job centric.
No, just sales centric. The other individual they were both part of sales, and they were both supposed to be able to do operation related work. So but both identified very smartly that this is my skill set and this is my skill set, and they spoke to each other. They became friends and they spoke to each other, and they said that whatever sales you do, we will split it. They actually did that. So they split the sales, and whatever admin work,
that's an efficient team.
Yes, that is. So, and whatever admin work we're supposed to be done, the inventory count, and because there is a lot of admin work that goes into the management of the store as well.
Yeah.
So they very smartly divided their work, and they said that this is where I'm good at, and this is where you are good at, and both things need to be done. And you take care of all the operational stuff, and I will take care of all the sales stuff. I will divide the credit for the sale. You divide all the credit for the operational stuff, and we will.
Were they able to learn from each other as well?
They were. I mean, it was not the case. I mean, what I was I liked the idea. I was very happy that they could do this. They did not realize that they are doing this. I mean, they did it like in a friendly, like
instinctually.
Yeah, instinctually. In a friendly manner, like let's help out the friend sort of a situation. But what I was worried was that what if one of them is out, and what if the sales does not happen? But that was not the case. So they learned from each other, because that is the kind of individuals they were. So they learned from each other, so that, I mean, this should not happen, that say suppose one of them is out, so the performance is affected. And they gave me the reason that we did this because if one of them is out, the performance will suffer for both the people. So They were very
street smart is
They
what we
were,
say.
they were.
They knew in what direction
Shun.
to put in the effort. They were
So-
aware. The awareness was there.
So both learned to do, I mean, more than bare minimum of whatever the other person was doing, because so is life. You can fall ill, and you will need to take personal days and stuff like that. And they realized that this could suffer. I mean, their performance could suffer, and they could suffer, and the store could suffer, and they realized that they were like, no, this won't happen. We will learn. So they learned, and it was a pretty good team. I think they stayed together for 2.5 years, and they did well.
See, that I think that is why we say it's always, you just don't need the bookish knowledge. You also need to be street smart enough to measure your strengths, to put in your efforts towards those strengths. Like, I'll give you a very funny example. I used to do this when I used to study science and mathematics. So in mathematics, my statistics and trigonometry was like brilliant. I used to ace it. But the other parts, number series, this, that, and I used to be like, oh my god, I used to
Hate it.
terribly. I was terrible at it.
Okay.
So I used to terribly perform at it. So then I decided that I'll only work on my strengths, because I knew that I'm not going to study mathematics all my life. Statistics is something I used to love, apparently. So I balanced, like I used to get all the scores in stats and graphs and trigonometry. But if the topic used to change, even my teacher used to realize that this student, we cannot do anything about her. She knows, and she's going to play this gamble. I used to do this with physics, chemistry, and bio also. Chemistry, I used to be beep. Okay, so I used to study physics, and I used to study biology, and I used to get my score, and I used to be like, yeah. And my teacher used to ask that you don't even try to attempt chemistry, and I was like, because समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है समझ. I have never accepted this, and now I'm practically accepting this publicly. नहीं समझ में आता था. I used to not understand, because वो learn करना पड़ता था कि ये है formula ऐसे. और मैं थी, मुझसे तो नहीं हो रहा, 2 साल और पढ़नी है, 9th 10th, and I knew that I'm not pursuing science in college. I knew that, because I was like, science is not my thing. Physics was my favorite subject, bio was okayish, chemistry I used to hate.
I did not hate any of the 3 of the sciences.
I passed my 9th and 10th
barely
through putting my efforts in such a structured way that I'm able to.
You put in effort where you wanted to put in. I think this is this example also reminds me of how people treat relationships also.
Okay.
Say suppose there are many factors that go into like putting
in
efforts in a relationship.
What kind of relationship, and the way a person puts in the effort, I would say. But I think it's very evident. You can always feel the effort. Like, for example, our mothers, they have, like, my mother has like 3 children, your mother has 2 children. The way you put in the effort, and the way your our siblings put in the effort, the parents, they're aware that this is their style of putting in efforts. That doesn't mean
I think
किसी का effort कम या ज़्यादा है.
नहीं, but that is not my point. My point is that say suppose there are different things that you're going to be good at, and there are different things that you're going to be bad at. But in a relationship, I mean, in a wholesome relationship, everything will come together and is going to be
Accounted for.
Yeah. So there are things like, say suppose you're probably bad at managing your finances. Probably, just for instance, say you and I are in a relationship now.
My sister is her very good friend. Bad at managing finances. You give her money, she's going to shop.
Like
she will shop for the entire world.
That's how she is. I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah.
But like, say suppose you and I, and you are not good at managing finances, right? And you don't know where your money comes from and where your money goes, and you have no idea how to manage your money, right? I am good at that, and at the same time I'm not good at keeping track of dates. I suppose there is insurance that needs to be taken care of, there are bills that need to be paid, but you are good at keeping track of that. So you can tell me that, dude, this is not something that I'm good at, you do this and I will do this, right? You can split the work. This is the kind of effort that can be split. But then there is some other effort. There are I have heard people tell me that loyalty is something that comes easily to you, and I'm like, but that is supposed to be fundamental of a relationship. And I'm not just saying romantic relationships, I mean friendships, yeah, also. I mean any relationship that I would have, I'd be loyal, right? But then
that is your
default
character trait, or personality trait.
Say, but in a friendship, you and I are friends, and say suppose loyalty, so to speak, does not come very easy to you, right? Would it be wrong for me to expect loyalty from you? No, right? Because even if loyalty does not come naturally to you, because you're in a relationship with me, and that I don't mean in a romantic relationship, I mean any sort of a relationship with me, you will have to put in that effort, and you will have to behave loyally with me. You'll have to be loyal.
I think for me loyalty is like non-negotiable. I'm really trying hard to understand
this is something,
the other side of the coin here.
I mean, I'm just saying, this is just one version
of effort.
For instance, patience.
Yeah.
For instance, patience, people tell you that patience is something that comes very easily to you. It's your virtue. Say suppose somebody tells you that, right? But in a healthy relationship, any relationship, even with the relationship that you have with your mother, you will require some sort of patience. You cannot keep snapping at your mother, out of all people, right?
Yeah.
In a romantic relationship, you will require patience. There are certain virtues that you will require in a relationship that may or may not come easily to you. But the conscious decision to put in that effort is what is going to make the relationship last, and it is your decision. I've seen that there is this very funny reel that says like, so there are two guys.
Yasha fangirling reels. Yeah, please continue,
but
sorry.
okay. So there was this guy. He said that, he was referring to girls that, you're dating him and you feel that you can fix him, and you feel that he will change for you. There is a transition, and there is a guy.
Hashtag offensive, but go on.
So there's the other guy. The other guy is like, you all look like Bob the Builder ka crew. If he wants to change for you, he will change on his own
will.
You cannot make him do anything that he does not want to do.
Like any mature individual would understand that. You cannot, like, no one can even force me to eat a chocolate if I don't want to.
True.
So, to fix someone, or saying things like fixing someone,
पता है क्या,
trying to change someone, I think
हमें ऐसा लगता है
ideology ही incorrect है.
नहीं, हमें लगता है that ऐसा मुझे लगता है that when you get into a romantic relation especially, and you see the red flags, you assume that the guy loves you enough, because you are seeing him through your love.
Rose colored tinted glasses.
That, and I mean, you assume that he loves you as much as, I mean, although there is no way to quantify love, but then just for the sake of the example, let's say that you assume that he loves you as much as you love him. So if you would put in the effort to change and evolve for him, he would put in the effort too. And we sort of assume that they will put in the effort, and if we just tell them, they will just put in the efforts, and the red flags will turn into green flags, and he will put in effort, and he will give me time, and he will give me the attention that I deserve. He will treat me the way I should be deserved, and stuff like that. And this is not just women centric. I mean, women do that to men, vice versa also.
Not gender centric.
So that happens, and you get into a relationship, ignore all the red flags, and then reality hits you, because he says that you knew. Because I have heard people say this, not just he, like anybody would say that you knew what you're getting into. You knew that he was like this. You knew she was like this. Why did you get into the relationship? Did you not see the red flags? And I feel bad, because I understand, I empathize with people who sort of get into these bad relationships assuming that the other person loves them enough that they would change for them, or maybe evolve for them, or maybe treat them better, or anything like that. So I think effort is very regularly seen as, like, somebody who's there is a, I mean, ebbs and flows, frequencies. So the rise in the wave is when you put in effort, and the fall in the wave is when you not put in effort. For me, I think the baseline, that is effort. Effort is the baseline, the fundamental
Of any
item for any relationship, right?
Like it's non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable, and
in human terms.
In any terms, like if I'm working with you, I will not carry all the weight of like anything. Right. For you will have to do that. You have to carry your own weight. I mean, and I'm talking professional relationships. You will have to put in effort when it comes to professional relationships as well, with your mother, father, friends, your romantic partner, anybody, right? So I feel that effort is a baseline. How good or bad something will be is the amount of effort you put in over and above the baseline. So bare minimum is not effort.
No, bare minimum is not effort.
Bare minimum is bare minimum, right? So and that is when somebody says bare minimum, I think they mean bare minimum as a human being.
Yeah.
Bare minimum as not as somebody. When you say that this is my romantic partner, this is my boss, or this is my colleague, or this is my teammate, your efforts should increase. I mean, because depending on how much effort you're putting into that relationship is going to decide the high of the high of that frequency, and the amount of effort that you don't put in will decide the
fall of it. See, in my opinion, like you said, the earlier example that you were giving, you told me that someone like कि मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ या मैं तो ऐसी ही हूँ is one thing. See, you can address the issue. If something is troubling, you can always address that this is something that is happening and it's troubling. The choice or the effort that they require to put in to correct the situation, if
so to speak.
So I think that choice is theirs. Your job was to communicate, but you cannot expect that कि मैंने बोल दिया तो जिस तरीके से मैंने बोला है उस तरीके से फिक्स हो जाए. Maybe you're like, let's say कि I ask my mom मुझे मैगी खानी है, तो अभी मुझे वेजिटेबल मैगी खानी है, बट मम्मी बोल रही है कि मैं तो ऐसे 2 मिनट मैगी बनाऊंगी. My job was to communicate. मैंने तो फेवर मांग लिया. Now it is her choice how she is going to make it. मैगी मिलेगी तुमको, but the choice is hers. That's a very basic example. That is one. Secondly, for the people who say कि मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ या ऐसी ही हूँ, मैं full judge होके full ऐसे you can call me whatever you want to call me. For the people who say that मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ या तो ऐसी ही हूँ, I think I want to ask them, because this always comes into my mind, that do you not want to change and do you not want to grow? Because in life you're always going to be evolving and changing with times. Like in COVID, we changed.
Change a lot of things.
The situations changed, so we changed.
We adapted. मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है,
उनको grow नहीं करना है क्या?
नहीं, मुझे ऐसा लगता है that people put in efforts when it is when there is a fire that needs to be put away. In an office situation also, suppose we're working and everything is chill and everything is calm, but suddenly there is a fire that needs to be put off. You will be there and everybody else will be there, and there'll be another teammate, and suddenly everything becomes urgent and the fire is getting out of control and everybody's panicking, nobody's able to think straight, and
Because at that point, I think you don't have an option. You have to put in the effort.
that is what I'm saying, that you put in effort when there is a fire. People don't put in effort when things are normal. In a relation, I mean, had you put in the effort when things were normal, it would not have reached the situation where there is a fire that needs to be put. For instance, in a relationship, say suppose I have seen couples fight, random couples fight, and then what happens is, I mean, there is one person and the other person, so like there is rootna manana going on. So there is one person who is trying to ease the anger of the other person, so they will send them flowers and they will send them gifts, and what they don't realize is that you are changing subconsciously the meaning of exchanging flowers for the other person. The other person will expect flowers only when you fight.
I would expect flowers. If
On
someone
a-
wants
on
to
a
make
ran-
me feel special and
on a
a
random
plant
normal
would be better than a
or this is some other tangent, but
Some other tangent,
but I'm saying that you will expect a gift or a
it
flower,
would ऐसे
a
liability
gesture,
as a gesture. Yes.
you will expect a gesture because there is a fire that needs to be put, there is a fight that needs to be eased out. So now you will put in the effort to bring the other person chocolates or whatever, some gesture to show that, like, you know, I care, I'm the nice person. And in friendships also, I've seen a lot of people, like, say suppose somebody calls you out that you're not being a good friend, yeah, whatever, so now you will start texting that individual more, start calling that individual more, which is, they also realize what you're doing, and I mean, they're not stupid. So I think
But then they addressed it and they're trying to fix it. That is also
that
something
is
should be
one
considered.
perspective. So
Yeah.
this is usually the perspective of the individual who's trying to put the fire off, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to, this was my way to address the issue, and this was my way to ease everything.
फ्रेंडशिप में इतना सोचते हैं लोग. मैं तो वैसे जब मन किया I call my
हाँ,
friends.
पर मैं बोल रही कि they try to pacify the situation. But I think जैसे तुम्हारा ये है कि जब मन किया तब कॉल कर लेंगे.
Because they're my friends. What are friends for? You can.
That is what I'm saying. So that is your baseline. That your baseline is that I will call you whenever I miss you. I don't care if it's 2 a.m. in the morning.
No, I don't care.
Right?
I will call you any time. I will, like, for the people who are very very close to me. This only happens with them. I will call you 24/7 जब मर्जी, because I have that kind of bond with you that I will call you कि ठीक है अभी I want to speak or अभी I want to meet. I wouldn't care about the time like
Obviously you wouldn't.
One of my friends, we have a huge time difference, so we were not able to communicate for a very long time. And then one day I was like so I used to call her at 3:30 a.m. like her 3:30 a.m.
But ideally that should not be the case. You should not put that much stress on the relationship.
We were not able to speak for
You were not
weeks.
able to, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You were not able to speak to her for months, I think, if I remember correctly.
This is something we do always, not texting, not speaking for weeks and months, and then one day we are like,
that is what I'm saying, कि one day ऐसा होता है, you hit your threshold and then you're like, put fire off, like अभी call करना पड़ेगा. Then I think that is what, I mean, leads to you putting, then on that day you will put everything at hold.
yeah.
Not because not only she is special, I know that, not because she's special, but because you pushed your buttons to the point कि अब नहीं हो रहा है.
Efforts consistent नहीं थे.
हाँ, you basically your efforts weren't consistent, and if I know her correctly, I think she's one individual who deserves consistent efforts, knowing who she is. Second of all, I also feel that as you were saying, that a lot of people say that I was built this way, or I was raised this way, and this is my upbringing, and I don't, how do you expect me to change?
मैं तो छोड़ देती, मैं तो इनको तो grow ही नहीं करना life में.
But I feel that there is a decision to be made, so to speak, wherein you say that okay, this is how I was raised, it was not very ideal, and these are the things that I have acquired, these are the habits, and these are the virtues, or whatever bad habits that I have acquired because of my upbringing. How do I fix it? So I think there
putting in the effort,
and also there are habits. मुझे ऐसा लगता है किसी की living with somebody's habits, bad habits, is easier than living with somebody's bad virtues. So you can probably live with somebody who has the habit of, throwing their gila tauliya on the bed and
gila tauliya being the highlight of our episodes.
For instance, I mean, you could live, because
you could live with that.
You could live with that.
That is not, that's a very material thing which can be fixed.
Right, and that you probably could live with somebody who is not in the habit of, taking care of their gadgets, because that's a habit, right? That is not their character, it's just a habit, right? I don't think you can live with an individual who has who has bad character traits, in the sense that for what if you have to live with
someone who's insensitive, let's say.
Insensitive also, like say suppose I'm your partner and I am not inclusive of you. You are my partner. Ideally, my decisions need to be made including you.
One unit.
Like in a one unit mindset, right? But then what if my decisions are not being made that ways? What if I'm not considerate of what sort of day you've had? I'm not considerate of your dreams. So I think living with somebody who has bad habits is fixable. I mean, for the lack of a better word.
Manageable.
It's manageable, and you can address this. Like I don't like this habit that you sleep with the lights on. Can we find like a medium? Yeah. But how do you live with somebody who would probably be mean to you on purpose just to put you down? That's not a habit.
Honestly address it. That I have started addressing it lately. If someone is
Thank
mean,
God.
Someone is mean, because I was like, if I'm not going to call them out, because they know they are being mean. So
everybody who's being mean.
I saw this somewhere on the internet, that if someone is being mean and you call them out, they freak out. Like I tell people that, what you said right now, that's mean. It's okay that you said it, but do you realize it's mean? They don't have a reply.
I have people who I have called out and told them that you are being mean and you're being insensitive. And सामने से जवाब आया तो I know.
तो वाला चीज तो नहीं है. तो अगर मेरे को कोई ऐसे से बोल दे तो बोलूँगी तो मतलब like
fix it.
Yeah. तो मतलब तो what तो means fix it. Like if your behavior is hurtful for someone, like you need to behave.
Because she requires consistent efforts, I think that there are going to be people in your life who are going to require consistent effort on the monotonous, mundane days, wherein there is nothing special. कोई anniversary नहीं है, कोई birthday नहीं है, but then you just get them a flower, or you send them a text that says that I miss you, or
that actually, ऐसे मैं full style में बोलूँगी, doing things like these, like Yasha is mentioning, sorry to cut you, will make the relationship effortless.
Effortless, yes. I mean, this is the kind of effort that will make things effortless, and I think it gives you a good starting point.
Yeah.
Like say suppose if you don't have such days, when you fight, जब भी किसी के साथ भी you fight, you just think about the bad things.
मैं तो effort ही fight का भी effort लेती हूँ. मैं तो the arguments are there. When it turns into a fight, I'm like,
I mean, any argument. Say suppose there is an argument, you will point out all the bad things. You will say hurtful things. things that you might not mean, but you will say hurtful things.
Making bad efforts.
And then the other person is also going to be, because it is going to be a firefight, and eventually you are going to end up hurting the other person, or the other person is going to end up hurting you if you don't have anchoring days wherein you are reminded of cute little tiny gestures that they did,
Little things that
that they did. You will not be able to recenter yourself back to calmness, and you will not be able to see things objectively, because you'll be like, ये तो हमेशा ही ऐसे करते हैं, like this individual is like this individual does this, and that becomes like their behavior for
continuous behavior.
Yeah, their
and
continuous
they tried it.
their continuous behavior becomes normal for you. If your continuous behavior is showing the other person or making the other person feel special, then that becomes normal. So even when they have bad days, you will cut them that slack that 80% of the times they've been good, and 20% of the time, even if they are bad, you are human.
Oh, I'm not going to cut them the slack. But people do that, and you should not be doing that, because while you are putting in efforts to make things work, to make relationships work, we should also put in efforts to make things healthy mentally, physically, surrounding wise, for yourself also, because you need to put in, if no one else is going to put in the effort for you, then you put in the effort for yourself.
I think
ऐसे one of my grandmom used to say always कि दीवार को धक्का लगाने का कोई फायदा नहीं है, because
physics, work done is zero.
Physics, yeah,
Work done
because
is zero.
दीवार को तुम धक्का लगा रहे हो, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है.
I also
Make
feel
conscious efforts, and if you're not able, जहाँ पे conscious effort नहीं है, वहाँ पे you cannot ask a wall to understand you.
there is a
And like then in that situation you just say that it is what it is. I tried my best. I'm not able to fix the situation, and I'm going to leave the ball in the other person's court, and they can see how they want to. तो अब construction वाले लोग देखो भैया, how do you want to fix the wall? And I'm like कि I am done, because I have put in my entire efforts.
मुझे
Like this is a very practical approach, so to
ऐसा
say.
people say that people often say this, that I am putting effort, you are the one who's not seeing the effort. What I feel, there is this phenomena, centripetal and centrifugal force.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, jitna basic education, not higher education. So what, from my understanding, it is like something that is going. Matlab, it's a perception thing. You will, from one perspective, you will feel that it is going in. From one perspective, you might feel that it is coming out. Right? In the effort situation also, the efforts, if the other person, if you tell me that you're not making efforts, yeah, I don't feel that you're making enough efforts, you might say that I am making efforts, you're probably not seeing them, you're probably not aware of the efforts, you don't know, how do I measure my efforts, stuff like that. But I think if you are genuinely putting in the effort, the other person knows, they just know. I also feel, because it is a perspective thing, we will cut you some slack, and we will say, suppose you and I tell you that you're not getting up on time, and
Communication is key here for
Yeah.
me and Yasha.
and you're not getting up on time, and you're supposed to get up on time, and because this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens.
You're putting in the logical reasoning,
Ning-
and I'm the person who would actually understand
the
this
logical
logical
reasoning part.
language.
Because I know that you will not understand that, Anmol, I need you to get up at my time. I feel uncomfortable. And when I say my time, I really don't mean 5 a.m. I just mean that, like, at a considerable time, wherein you, and at least when I call you, I know that you're awake and you are in a reasonable, you are
State of
awake,
mind.
and your brain is also awake enough to make decisions.
Yeah.
Right? So my effort is telling you that I don't feel that you are putting efforts. If you reject me there and then by saying that I am putting efforts, you're the one who's not seeing the efforts. Then I
Communication gap 1 मेरे को तो error लग रहा है इसमें.
दूसरा मुझे ऐसा लगता है that if you are putting the efforts towards me, I will be the judge of the fact that efforts हैं कि नहीं. Right? I mean, if I say that mathematics, going back to the start of the episode, mathematics, if I say that I am putting efforts, I just don't, like, I don't know what is happening, I don't get mathematics, or whatever I say. Sadly, the exam is going to be the judge of how much effort you put in and how much effort you did not. So ultimately, how you...
Examiner.
The exam and the examiner,
okay.
Like, I mean, how you do on the test will, justify how well you understood the topic and how much effort you put in to understand that topic or not. I feel when we teach people efforts, we just talk about that when to stop. Like, as in,
you should know when to stop, like Diwar wala example.
So abhi hamara conversation bhi has revolved around when to stop putting in efforts. A lot of people have started misusing, I would say, this as an excuse to not put in effort at all. Like, they say ki nahi, I have this idea of what efforts should look like, and if it is not this, then it cannot be anything. I think you should have an open mind as to what efforts can look like also. You should
for the other person.
The other person also, because I mean, going back to love languages, I mean, my love language could easily vary from your love language, and the way I feel or show love may not be the way how
you show or receive love.
Yeah, so I think knowing when to stop making efforts, knowing that efforts can look different to you,
like,
and the other individual, whosoever it is.
Like a very basic example, like for me, quality time is so important. Like, you can keep sending me thousands of materialistic gifts. It wouldn't matter if you're not spending time with me.
But that is how you see it.
This is how my effort and love language works. It might work differently for you or you guys.
Yeah, it could be different from,
like, your extremes, that your love language could be anything. Maybe for you, a love language is word of affirmation, right? So people can, do as many acts of service, or there's physical touch, or there's gifting, or there's quality time. Your love language is words of affirmation.
This reminds me of my
class. तो तुमको words में बताना पड़ेगा. I am not someone who is word centric, but I have realized Yasha is a word centric person. So whenever I need to communicate my love for her, I always try to put it in words.
I mean, I'm also a time person, so so I think that is not much of a gap there.
Yeah.
But I think this reminds me of my teacher. She used to say that, oh God, I forgot, regarding efforts. Oh my God, I did not just space out. I did space out. I'll think about it. I'll tell you. I have seen Gal Gadot work out for Wonder Woman, and she worked out like crazy. And I think one of the movies she was pregnant, and she worked out while she was pregnant with the baby bump and everything. So I was like,
इतना ऐसे empowered और ऐसे inspirational and motivational लगता है.
That is not where I was going. So I was saying that people put in effort into if they look a certain way, they put in effort. You cannot demean their effort by saying कि ये देखो फुकरा, ये देखो ये what is this, और ये देखो ऐसा है खाते पीते, ये तो कमजोर लगता है, खाते पीते घर का लगता ही नहीं है. And I'm like कि नहीं बेटे,
don't say that.
4 पराठे तो खाने ही पड़ेंगे, ऐसे कैसे लगेगा खाते पीते घर का नहीं है. And I'm like कि मतलब उसका पेट तो डिसाइड कर लेगा ना कि खाते पीते घर का लगना है कि नहीं.
बोल रहे हो ऐसा?
And there are a lot of people who enjoy sweets, and the people keep telling them diabetes हो जाएगा, don't. And I'm like कि ideally
you can express your concern that
yes.
I understand you like sweet, maybe you take a natural ingredient, because
Because
it might impact your health. Correct way to say. ये क्या बोलते हैं कि क्या बोलते हैं यार?
80% or more of your conversation is tone.
कुछ ऐसे वो होता है ना हिंदी में कुछ ऐसे एक वो होती है कि बुरे बोलने वाले की चाशनी भी अच्छी लगती है. क्या मिर्ची
मेरी दादी तो बोलती थी मुंह अच्छा नहीं तो बात तो अच्छी कर लो.
Yasha's दादी being savage.
मुंह अच्छा नहीं तो बात अच्छी कर लो. And she also used to tell me that कि मेहनत करो, पूरी मेहनत करो और रिलेशनशिप में पूरी मेहनत करो और
hard work has no replacement.
Yes, and she used to say कि सामने वाले को इतना ऐसे हाथ दो अगर हाथ की ज़रूरत है. ज़्यादा अगर तुम करोगे तो तुम्हारे सिर पे चढ़ के कान में I cannot say this, but then
सिर पे चढ़ के नाचेंगे is what I
heard. हाँ वो तो ऐसे
कान में whatever you are saying.
They saying she used to basically say they will
tell me in my कान में.
नहीं. She used to say that they will get on your head and then they'll piss in your ear. Yeah.
I like that woman. She was like
कि know when to stop. ये एफर्ट डालो बढ़िया है, हार्ड वर्क करो बढ़िया है. एंड शी ऑल्सो यूज्ड टू से दैट इफ योर टाइम इज आई थिंक वैल्यू टाइम ओवर एनीथिंग एल्स बिकॉज मनी इज समथिंग इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ वन ट्रांजैक्शन. मुझे ऐसा मुझे लगता है that
it is a matter of one transaction.
It is a matter of one
transaction.
Transaction. I mean, you could have 1,000 rupees in your account, and the next transaction you could have crores. It's a matter of one transaction. But time, you cannot have like the 5 minutes that have already gone by. You cannot. No amount of money, fame, success can buy that, right? So I think skewing the definitions of things that were ideally meant to give you a sense of direction is not very healthy. We've been doing this a lot. We shouldn't. And I think it was a very. I think we should conclude because we keep on.
Because we'll keep on blabbing. You'll keep on listening because you all are so sweet. But I think we'll conclude on this note. Because we have been blabbing a lot and I will be unstoppable. I am unstoppable in blabbing.
Yeah, she is.
So I think that is it for today. If
yes.
you like to, आपको story याद आई जो आपने बोला था आपके teacher की कुछ something?
मैं भूल गई.
Yasha forgot, but it's okay. She might want to.
If I think about it, I'll probably put it somewhere down below.
Yeah, or if we discuss a similar timeline of sorts of topic, I'll ask her to address it. So I think that's it for today.
Yes.
We'd like to receive your feedback and
follow
let
us know. Subscribe to the channel.
Communicate, effort डालो और हमें बताओ अच्छा लग रहा है कि नहीं लग रहा है.
And I mean, rate us, review us on all the podcast platforms that you are listening to. We link everything down below. Let us know everything. You can follow us on our individual channels. I feel that I haven't been linking those individual accounts.
Not the individual accounts.
But probably I'll start doing that also.
If you think we blab a lot, there's an option of playback speed.
Oh, yes.
So you listen to it in 1.25x or 1.5x or whatever speed is suitable for you. But that's it for today. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you for listening to the chaos that was today. We'll have a little more streamlined episodes. Yeah, so that's about it. Write to us and bye. Hey awesome people, did you like that content? There is more such content on its way. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment, like, share the episode, share the love.
And you can also follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can also follow us on our social handles linked below. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned. Bye!